Hello everyone, I'm making this video in response to the recent rumour, well not really rumour, it's more news that Nintendo are deciding to remake The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And I was interested in speaking about this because I've played the game quite a few times before, and I mean, it's really exciting. So what can I say about Ocarina of Time that hasn't already been said? It's a masterpiece. It pioneered a type of game design that at the time when it came out it really wasn't being done before. It was basically the first real attempt at making like a three-dimensional, well-realised open world adventure game. Of course you had games like Super Mario 64 that came out before and things like that, but Super Mario 64 was more like a platformer game that had a central hub that connected to different worlds. Ocarina of Time felt more like its own land. So you walked in one direction, you get to one location, you walk to the other direction, you get to this location, and it was all neatly connected with zero loading times, which was good. I could imagine I know this would never happen, but imagine Ocarina of Time came out on the PS1, and every time you would walk to a different location, you had to wait for 30 seconds. But because it was on a cartridge, a 32 megabyte cartridge, it was very seamless of how you were able to go to all these different locations. And of course, as gaming evolved, 3D open adventure games got bigger and better and more complex, like the GTA games, and evolved into the Bethesda games like Oblivion and Skyrim, and eventually things like The Witcher 3. That thing's got absolutely massive. But basically, it all started here in this little game called Ocarina of Time. But what it was able to achieve in 1998, and all the things that Nintendo were trying to work out for the first time for how they were going to make this location and make this dungeon in 3D, it's all very convincing, and it's actually very playable all these years later. And there are a lot of games from that time period where you could just pick it up and it's really hard to get into, the controls are all whacked and things like that. I do think Ocarina of Time's control scheme is perfect. The whole locking on targeting thing was really well done, and it was kind of like a Matrix moment of it was this special feature that was copied by all of these future 3D games, kind of in the way that Bullet Time was copied after 1999. And it's funny because, the Matrix and Ocarina of Time came around the same time, and I like to say that Ocarina of Time did for video games what the Matrix did for movies. It was kind of this point of no return, this crossroads moment. Though I would like to see this remake improve on a few things that I do think have aged a little bit. The one thing that I think about Ocarina of Time that is aged a bit poorly compared to other things is I have to say maybe the design of the overworld. I know everything is connected by Hyrule Field, and Hyrule Field is this big open place that connects everything, but it's kind of one of the only places in the entire game that felt truly open. There are a lot of other areas in the game that felt very boxed in and closed in, and it felt really restrictive in a lot of ways. I remember Kakariko Village being this very cramped space with a lot of things put in it, and there are some areas in the game that look a little bit ugly. I mean, I know it is a N64 game, but the one area that comes to mind is Zora's River. It's this really cramped in, narrow, rectangular, blocky space where the river is going, then it goes around these 90-degree curves and everything, and it just doesn't look natural. It doesn't look like a real river. Maybe, but it was the first 3D action adventure game, so of course I'm not going to get everything right. But I mean, I've seen rivers in Minecraft that look more natural than what this area is. Another area that I think could be fleshed out a little bit more is the Death Mountain Trail. You kind of just go up this narrow ramp, then you do this U-turn and you go up a narrow ramp, and then you're kind of just there at Goron City. There's not really anything of interest really in this area. I mean, there's no real obstacles. Of course, I mean, like, you have, like, when you get up to like the final part of the mountain, you have to blow up these rocks that stand in the way, and then you gotta, you know, try and dodge the raining fire, and then you climb up this final wall. But, like, if they're gonna, like, remake this for, like, modern day consoles, I like to see something a little bit more elaborate than this. Maybe, like, going around the circumference of the mountain, going all the way up, maybe past a few waterfalls and maybe a few more obstacles, a few more things in the way, because I did think that area, to me, was very minimalistic and it could have been fleshed out a bit more. But yeah, mostly just the, maybe add a few more areas, give a few more places to explore, and then add to the existing areas more things to do, more things to explore. Like, Gerudo Valley is also a good area, but of course it's a very deep area. You, like, dive off and you go like 100 meters down to, like, the stream below. But, like, on the surface level, apart from, like, the tent that has the carpenters in it, there really isn't that much to do here. I mean, it's kind of just like this very small place, and then you go down, you can float on some cuckoos and find a couple of hidden boxes and holes, but, like, maybe expand it a little bit more. Maybe you can, like, go around the corner and maybe see a little bit more of what this area has to offer overall. But that's basically my only critique of is that the areas, I think the overall areas could be fleshed out a little bit more. I think one more thing I will say is that make Hyrule Castle explorable, because in the original game, Hyrule Castle, it's kind of more like this stealth mini game where it almost, like, becomes like Metal Gear Solid for like 2 minutes, where you just gotta, you know, dodge past guards and go through a few corridors, and, you know, and then you go to that, you know, that iconic space where that huge scene between you and Zelda takes place. And that's great, that's really good, but what I felt was missing from that game was that after you do that and Zelda says, you know, you're okay to come back and the guards won't bother you anymore, you can't actually go into the castle itself. I mean, like, the drawbridge is, like, locked up when you go up there, so that's closed. But I always thought it would be, like, a nice little space where you could just, you know, explore the rooms of the castle and, you know, talk to some of the guards and explore Zelda's bedroom and explore the other rooms and maybe explore the dungeon and things like that. That's the part of the game that felt strangely incomplete to me. I mean, if you're an Ocarina of Time fan, you know that there was a lot of content that was cut from this game when it was being developed back in the late 90s because of the storage constraints of the N64. And it is a shame because you can see that, like, there were parts of the game that they wanted to make as complete as possible, but it still feels like there are things that are kind of strangely missing from it, like that castle segment. If they're going to remake this game, I would love to see them add things like that to it. Keep the dungeons the way they are. The dungeons are fine the way they are. Of course, like the water temple, just make it like the way it was made on the 3DS. You know, just don't keep on pausing and unpausing the game to put on your boots. Just, you know, make it an actual item that you can just push a button, and that'd be great. Keep that the way it is. Keep the music. The music in this game is incredibly good. It is some of the best music ever in a video game. It's so ambient, it's so atmospheric, it's so well put together. I love the ambience of this game. I love when you're wandering around Hyrule Field at night and you hear, like, the little birds that, like, and, like, the little, just those really ambient noises. Then you walk past, like, the ranch and you can see, like, the light on and, like, the little window up there. I love stuff like that. Keep that stuff in. But definitely flesh out some of the areas a bit more. Like, make the Lost Woods bigger. The Lost Woods it's a great area, but it's very small. There's only, like, about maybe, like, 7-8 segments of it. It's a very small place to explore, and once you explore it, it's kind of, there's nothing really more to it. But, and also one thing they've got to change about this game is Navi, because, look, it's funny how this seemingly untouchable game, and people still complain about Navi as a flaw, which doesn't really make any sense, because if it was a perfect game, people wouldn't be complaining about Navi. But anyway, Navi to me, wasn't really a character in Ocarina of Time. It was more like a tool that was used for you, like, she tells you where to go next. There's no real moments of emotional connection with Navi. Nothing. I mean, like, that's what Twilight Princess fixed with Midna. She was an actual character who had a story, who had an arc, and you can, kind of like relate to and like attach to. She was a really compelling character. Navi is not this. She is this hollow, like, talk box that just tells you where to go. And it's funny because, like, at the end of the game when you fight Ganon, and she's like, this time we fight together. There's no stopping us now. And she's like saying that in like a way that you were like emotionally connecting with her throughout the game, and you just weren't, because she wasn't like that. Make Navi more interesting in this remake. Make Navi actually have like moments of banter and moments of, actual genuine conversation with Link, and make her more engaging, make her like a more entertaining character, to say the least, because Navi was really a very flat character, very blank, character in Ocarina of Time, and also give Link more expressions, because he was also a very blank vessel in Ocarina of Time as well. But overall, that's all I really have to say about this remake. Just don't give us the exact same game as before. I mean, Nintendo already did that in 2011 with Ocarina of Time 3D. Exact same game, exact same layout, except with better graphics. There was nothing new about it. Maybe just flesh out the game a bit more and make it more, something that can, live up to modern standards. And I mean, the game still has aged very well. It's still very playable, but there are parts of the game, like the points that I brought up, that I do think are a little bit flawed, a little bit broken. Just give them a facelift. Just expand it and just make it more fleshed out. And I think you would have a great game on your hands that lives up to the original 90s game, but also make it, mind-blowing for this era. That's what I'm saying. I don't want Nintendo just to release the same game with better graphics. I want it to be a bit like new stuff in it. But yeah, that's my overall opinion of this upcoming Ocarina of Time remake. As a fan of the game that's really enjoyed it over the years, I am excited to see what Nintendo will bring to this iteration. There's been a lot of really good remakes lately. I mean the Dead Space remake, the Resident Evil 4 remake have all been good, and I feel like Ocarina of Time could be the next one. So definitely tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know. But anyway, thanks for watching, and take care. Thank you.